I come from a fairly well-known family, so that was a big advantage first. My parents were quite well-known in the city of Chennai, or Madras as it was known as. My grandfather used to be the dean of the Madras Medical College. My father had his own business, and he was quite successful in business until a particular point of time. So I had a very stable background. I had an absolutely stable childhood. The funny part as far as my family is concerned is we are three brothers. My eldest brother, who's no more now, is 18 years older than me. And my second brother is 8 years older than me. So there's a vast difference in age between the three of us. So my elder brother was more like a father figure to me. Right? Even though I was a brother, I used to keep looking up onto him for many, many things. And so also with my second brother, right, that age gap used to be there. So it is not as if that we were very close and I could play with my brothers and stuff like that. So that's as far as childhood is concerned. I studied in Vidya Mandir right through. And I was probably one of the worst students ever to come out of Vidya Mandir.
I think I could have given you some competition for that, probably.
I used to struggle. I've done every damn language possible. For a couple of years, I tried to do Tamil, I failed. A couple of years, I tried to do Hindi, I failed. A couple of years, I tried Sanskrit and just about managed to stay afloat. So, school has memories of being a very poor student. And that's always in the back of my mind saying that, but then that's destiny. So, from Vidya Mandir, I moved on to Vivekananda College to do our pre-university. Those years we had to do something called a pre-university of 1 year of college before you decide what do you want to do as far as your profession is concerned. And the cutoff mark to get a first class in pre-university was 600. I managed 603. And my family thought I was, one of the most brilliant students ever to come out, in the family, and that I've done exceptionally well. Not realizing that I just managed to get it by about 3 marks. Right? So anyway, that was something that everybody appreciated, and I thought it was just a stroke of luck that I managed to get a first class. So as far as my childhood is concerned, as I said, very happy, no regrets, nothing to ever worry about, or don't have any complexes regarding all that. And that's about it as far as my early years are concerned.
And how did you actually get interested in architecture?
I didn't. I had no clue as to what I wanted to do. In those years, either you become a doctor or an engineer. Since there was already a doctor in the family, and my second brother, that's my eldest brother, and my second brother was a chartered accountant.
Okay.
They felt that an engineer was missing in the family, and so I should try for engineering.
Well, you'll have enough variety between the three
Absolutely.
of you.
That's what they wanted. They wanted variety. I still remember, it's again a very interesting story because it makes me wonder at myself and laugh at myself. I went into... everybody said try for engineering, and those years the IIT entrance exam was a big thing. So my father and mother said, why don't you try for IIT? After all, you got a first class in pre-university, so you must be a good student. So that exam takes 3 hours. I saw that question paper. I didn't have a clue as to what all those questions were. I fiddled around for 15 minutes. And I walked out. I was probably the first to walk out because I knew nothing about it.
Okay.
Right? So that shows you, what kind of mind frame that I was in and what kind of knowledge I had. Because at about 16, 17, your knowledge levels are very, very poor. Unless you're a geek. That's a different thing. Unless you're one of those absolutely hardworking kind of school students who sort of knows he was brilliant from the time he was born, which I was not. So then they said, let's try engineering. So I tried for mechanical engineering. I tried for chemical engineering. I tried for even textile technology. I tried for leather technology. I got into nothing.
None of it.
Absolutely nothing. And somewhere along the line, somebody said there's a course called architecture, why don't we try for it? So the course, as far as the architecture course was concerned, I was a bit lucky again with the contacts that I had. You had to have some letters of references. My father knew old man C.R. Narayan Rao of the famous C.R. Narayan Rao firm.
Oh, yes, of course.
So my father requested him saying that, can you give him a letter of recommendation? He wants to do architecture, or at least I want him to try for architecture. Can you give him a letter of recommendation? So I got a nice letter of recommendation from C.R. Narayan Rao as far as architecture was concerned. And there was another friend of my father's called Mr. A.M. Barnachalam, who was the chairman of the Murugappa group, who also gave a reference letter saying that I came from a good family and that, you know, my upbringing has been good and that I should make a good career if I were to become an architect, etc. So that is as far as the letters were concerned. Our entrance exam those years was to sketch something. They'll keep a flower vase with a leaf and you have to sketch that out. So we're about 50 people in the test.
All right.
And I can see, you know, if I take this pencil out and let me assume that that's where the vase is kept. You know, I could see people looking at it like this, measuring the heights, you know, getting the exact scale and various things. And I knew nothing about all this. So whatever it is, I did my shot. I was not too bad at sketching, but I was not so well versed like how the others were getting things to scale and all that.
Sure.
But I somehow managed to do the drawing. Maybe it was luck. Maybe it was a couple of good reference letters. I managed to get a seat. So that was a big relief. But I knew nothing about architecture.